Hey everyone, my name is Vinny. This is my channel, my sports talk channel. Welcome. I am an avid sports fan. I studied journalism with a focus in sports at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. I'm a huge Boston sports fan, Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, you name it. And I've been meaning to get a channel like this started because I'm really trying to get my name out there. Um, and I figured while everyone's home and we're forced to be staying home inside, this would be the perfect opportunity to get this channel started and to get some, people talking, get some views, and see what you guys think. And so, trying to give this a try. So, thank you for joining me, and let's get started. Um, I guess I should start off with the elephant in the room. I'm sitting on my floor in my bedroom. I don't really have any other place to use right now, so this is this is what it is. So if you can bear with me with that, I think the background's not too bad. So let's get going. Um, I know I'm pretty late to this, but let's talk about it. Tom Brady is no longer a New England Patriot. Um, let's react to that. I know plenty of people have already. I saw plenty of people that I follow or, don't follow, just all over Tom Brady's Instagram, begging him not to leave. But he is now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Um, Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that, but let's react. So, the first thing I thought of was what's next for the Patriots? I love Tom Brady. He's been here for as long as I can remember. Um, and it's just completely weird thinking that a New England Patriot uh, has become a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Like, in my life, I never thought I would see someone like a star player willingly leave the New England Patriots for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But that's exactly what the greatest quarterback of all time and possibly, one of the greatest athletes in the history of sports did. He is now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So, you know, I was thinking what's next for the Patriots. And what's next is, it appears it's Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. The Pats, they weren't really able to keep Brady. I just don't think it was realistic, anyways, with the money that he wanted because they frankly don't have any money to spend. As you can see, they haven't really made any signings in free agency this year. Uh, there's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of money to go around to new players, even to current players. A lot of current players besides Tom Brady, they left. We lost. Philip Dorsett went to the Seahawks. Kyle Van Noy went to the Dolphins. Jamie Collins went to the Lions. Denny Shelton went to the Lions. So we traded Deron Harmon to the Lions and saved some money there and got a better draft pick for it. But those are just all prime examples that these players that had some pretty big roles over the past few years on this team weren't able to stay because the Patriots just don't have enough money to go around. That's between failed high draft picks that just aren't panning out, but they still have to make a lot of money because they're a first round pick, second round pick. Like, they still make a few million here and there. Some failed trades. My friends know this, my number one least favorite trade right now has to be the Mohamed Sanu trade during the season at the trade deadline with the Atlanta Falcons, giving up a second round pick straight up for Mohamed Sanu, who's making, I think it's like $6 to $7 million, something in that range. That's his cap hit, I believe, or that's his salary. Either way, that's way too much for a guy that just did not bring enough to this team this past season. Like, he honestly was just a part of the problem, I think, when the Patriots just unraveled towards the end of the year, the second half of this last season. So, there's no money to sign free agents. They're signing guys on these minimum deals. They don't have that second round pick, which is really crucial in today's NFL. The Patriots, historically, Bill Belichick, it really hasn't been that good at drafting in the second round for the Patriots. Even the recent memory, the first round really hasn't been that great. It's okay, but in the second half of Tom Brady's career, a lot of people say Tom Brady had two careers with the Patriots. First, like 10 years, and then the second half, the next 10 years. Bill Belichick, for that second half, really did not draft very well to put a team around Tom Brady. So that's something. Without Tom Brady, just imagining him not here is crazy, but without Tom Brady on the Patriots, that drafting alone, the draft skills of Bill Belichick just have to get better in general. Like, it's a need. There's no way that this team will compete for anything, not even the division, let alone AFC Championship or a Super Bowl, if Bill Belichick's drafting, at least in the early rounds, where like these studs are getting drafted around the Patriots picks that they don't use on these same guys. They need to draft these players well, because there's no Tom Brady to bail them out anymore. There's only so much you can do. There's only, you can draft only so poorly when you have the greatest quarterback of all time on your team. But eventually, like we saw, that catches up to you over time. And now that he's gone, he's not there to bail you out when you draft and make poor transactions. Stephon Gilmore was an amazing signing. He is making a ton of money, but he's well worth it. Julian Edelman, worth the money. Some guys, Mohamed Sanu, not worth the money. Even Dante Hightower, I love him. He's done a lot for this team, but his cap right now is just, it's not ideal for the way the team is right now. Devin McCourty is, I like him a lot too, but they're both getting up there in age. His cap isn't worth it. Like, I really want him on the team, but it's tough. And so there's just some guys, again, like, even if they're on minimum deals, that are just not working out. I'm looking at you, Isaiah Wynn and Sony Michel, the Georgia teammates that we drafted, both of them in the first round a couple years ago. So they're just, they really, I know Wynn was hurt, and I really don't have an excuse for Sony, but he just took a huge step back this year. N'Keal Harry, I'll give him a pass for this past season. He was hurt for a lot of it. So, I can't see Belichick drafting a receiver in the first round again this year. He was very reluctant to do that up until last year's draft for years. I don't think he had ever done it. So, I can't see him doing it again this year, although there are a lot of good receivers in this year's draft, so I can see him taking one at some point. That not having that second round pick again is huge. They have a few third round picks. Maybe they can trade up, or maybe with that first round draft pick, if they don't like who they see there, maybe they'll move back. But I just can't see them, going at that position again. I guess the most important position to talk about is the quarterback position. Like I said earlier, Jarrett Stidham looks like he's next up. And I'm not exactly sure if he's ready yet. It's only his second year. I know he looked really good in the preseason last summer. But it's just not, it doesn't feel like he's ready. I don't feel like he's ready. I'm not getting that feeling. Like some of these guys that sit behind these quarterbacks for a year or two, like Jimmy Garoppolo, I thought would have been 100% ready, a few years ago, and he definitely was. He led a team to the Super Bowl. You can argue how much input he had with his playing to get them there, but and he, his performance wasn't great in that game, but he still led a team there. And so, not being able to keep him, and I'm happy they were able to keep Brady for the time being, but now you have neither of them. You're without Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. They both seem like they're in immensely better situations than yours. Like it's, Garoppolo's fresh off of losing in the Super Bowl, but he still made it there. And Tom Brady arguably has some of the best weapons on one team that he's had, at least at the wide receiver position, in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Um, the rest of the team on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is, iffy. Their defense was solid. Their offensive line is Their running back situations, Their tight ends are pretty solid, and I like Bruce Arians as an offensive coach. So I think Brady will still be able to perform. A lot of people thought he fell off the cliff last year, but that's not the case. So, yeah, you're stuck with Jarrett Stidham now. And, he came in what he was known for last year. There's a blowout. Patriots were up big last year, and they took Brady out and they put Stidham in, and he threw a pick six, and Brady came right back out, and you didn't see Jarrett Stidham again. So I know that the Patriots staff, Belichick, the players, they've been talking him up, but in reality, I don't know how ready he is, and I don't think they're completely convinced either, because there are, I know out of any team in the NFL or any team in sports in general, the Patriots should not be subjected to any kind of rumors. You shouldn't take any of those seriously. But I mean, I'm seeing Jordan Love from Utah. He's a potential pick at number 23. He might go earlier, but not too much earlier, to the point where they might be able to draft or trade up and draft him. They're interested in Justin Herbert, but he's looking like he might go number 6 overall to the Chargers. And then obviously Joe Burrow's going number 1 to the Bengals, unless something crazy happens and the Bengals really screw that up. So I can't see that happening. But yeah, I can't see, maybe later on, like maybe Jalen Hurts in like the 3rd or the 4th round from Oklahoma, because he seems like he could be a solid, bench quarterback that could come in and help at some point. But I don't know. It's just it looks like Jarrett Stidham's the guy, and the Patriots. And if that's the case, the Patriots are going to have probably one of the best draft classes they've had under Bill Belichick's tenure as the coach and general manager of this team. There's no way around that. Like he's gonna have to do like one of the best jobs he's ever done. I know he's amazing. He's Hall of Famer. He's the greatest coach of all time. But is he the greatest GM of all time? He's up there, but I don't know about that. Just with, like I said, with the recent memory of draft picks and some of these really bad transactions that have gotten the Patriots to this point, it's yet to be seen. So there's that. And I'm gonna come out, with my own mock draft. I know that the NFL draft starts soon. It's the 23rd, 6 days from now. So I will come out with my own personal mock draft. But in the meantime, I'm gonna save that for when we get a little closer to draft day. I'll do one, for the Patriots. I can do who I think they might be interested in, who I think will be a good fit for them. It'll be fun, so that's yet to come. But yeah, I just it was very frustrating watching Tom Brady go, and the Patriots not being able to make any moves to to replace him, basically. Like, again, Jarrett Stidham. I know they signed Brian Hoyer, who they know he knows the system. He's not a starter in this league, not on a good team, not on a playoff team. So with they lost more than they gained. The linebacker core got completely decimated. Like I said, with the losses of Van Noy and Jamie Collins. Chase Winovich, I mean, he is looking like right now he might be the best pick of last year's draft class, which is, again, he was like a third round pick, fourth round pick, I believe. So, I mean, that's just you can't have that. Like you're supposed to draft these guys in the first and second rounds, and they're supposed to be like the guys, and then you draft these guys, other players later on in the third, fourth, fifth rounds, and if they pan out to be starting, starting players on your team and your lineups and everything like that, then great, like that worked out fine. But they should not be leading your draft class when they were the third or fourth player taken by you. I understand, like I said, I understand N'Keal Harry was hurt for most of the year last year, and he looked pretty solid when he was healthy. And maybe another year of practice. I don't know how much they can really be practicing until this whole coronavirus thing ends. But it's just it just doesn't make much sense to roll out Jarrett Stidham to me at this point in his career. I think he can be a good quarterback maybe down the line in his third, maybe fourth year overall, but his second year where he barely played besides the preseason, and we all have heard how Tom Brady isn't very much, he doesn't like to teach these like young quarterbacks that Bill has brought in over the years. If anything, he feels a little threatened when they come in, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo when he was here. So I don't know how much he learned from Tom Brady. He from his draft projections last year, Jarrett Stidham was, it looked like he was going to be a first round pick coming out of Auburn, but after his junior year. But once he hit senior year, he just didn't have a good year. He lost a lot of players to the draft, a lot of linemen, a lot of some skill players, role players. So that helped in bringing his value down. He went all the way down to the fourth round when the Patriots finally selected him after possibly being a first round pick the year before. But I don't know. He sounds like he has the potential, but I'm not sure what he if he's ready, what the deal is with him. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, in Bill we trust. I hear people say that all the time. It's everywhere. In Bill we trust. And we do. We should trust them. And we're going to find out if Bill can win without Tom Brady. He's won a little bit before he was the coach of the Patriots, and he won 11 games with Matt Castle when Tom Brady tore his ACL years ago, but they also didn't make the playoffs that year. I know it was all due to tiebreakers with the Dolphins, but it's just it's going to be tough. I think they're implementing the extra playoff team, the wild card team this year, so maybe they have a shot to win 8 games. I think at least with Belichick being the coach, they can get to 8 wins with this team, which would make them 8-8, which you hate to see, but for me, that's really 8-9 games is what I'm thinking. And I know that doesn't sound too bad for non-Patriots fans, but Patriots fans are probably, losing their minds right now thinking that they might only win 8 to 9 games. Because we haven't seen that in over 20 years. So yeah. A lot of people are thinking maybe they should tank, which isn't going to happen. Bill Belichick is not going to allow this team to tank. There's no way. Even if he traded off some of the best players on this team or let them go, I don't think, even with some scrubs, he's going to allow them to tank to the point where they're the worst team in the NFL or like a bottom 4 or 5 team in the NFL, which is really where you need to be in order to get one of these top flight quarterbacks now. I mean, I'd love the Patriots to get Trevor Lawrence. I really like Trevor Lawrence, and I think he's going to be a really good quarterback in the NFL for years to come when he, gets drafted next year in 2021. But that's I don't think that's the reality for the New England Patriots. You're gonna have to get the number 1 overall pick most likely to get Trevor Lawrence, barring some drastic major injury or regression in playing ability. It just doesn't make sense. It's not gonna happen. I've heard rumors that the Patriots might try to trade up in this year's draft, because they are apparently very interested in Justin Herbert. I'm not completely sold on him. It seems like every Oregon quarterback that I at least know that's come out in recent memory, they haven't panned out in the NFL. So I'm not really liking the sound of that. I'm going to be honest with you, because they're going to have to give up, again, without that second round pick, they're going to have to give up a ton. They have a lot of picks in this year's draft. I believe it's 13 or 14 picks, but most of those are like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round draft picks. So there's only so much you can do with those. You're not going to get a Tom Brady at pick 199 really ever again. But in general, like Julian Edelman isn't, 7th round pick Julian Edelman probably isn't walking through that door, the new 21, 22-year-old Julian Edelman. So speaking of Edelman, I wouldn't be completely against them trading him. I know he's given a lot to this team, but I feel like you can probably, if you had to give, I know it was the trade deadline, so team needs are a little more urgent during the season, especially for playoff teams. But if you had to give up a second round pick for Mohamed Sanu, I think aiming for a late, hit up the 49ers. Call the 49ers. They have the 31st pick. Be like, hey, what's it going to take? You need a receiver. Garoppolo needs more weapons. You got Deebo Samuel. He's solid. Great rookie year. You have George Kittle, one of the best tight ends. You have, Dante Pettis. You lost Emmanuel Sanders. Marquise Goodwin sounds like he's out the door. So why not call them up and be like, hey, we gave you a pretty good deal on Jimmy Garoppolo. We could have gotten a first-round pick, but you only gave a second-round pick for him. So how about you just give us our first for Julian Edelman? I know it's a long shot, and both teams, it takes 2 to tango. They have to, they both have to agree to the deal. This isn't Madden where anything just gets done, but I would try to do that. I mean, I know maybe you possibly want that receiver. You want Edelman to help Jarrett Stidham to progress if he really is your guy this year at quarterback. But at the same time, he's not getting any younger. Julian Edelman's 33, 34 years old. So if you can get a high second round pick or possibly late first rounder, maybe you have to throw in another solid player or a draft pick or both, then I would do that. It's time to rebuild this team. And that's through the draft. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. This is going to be a really new thing for Patriots fans. So buckle in and get used to it, everyone. Because this is the new reality. Tom Brady is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And I know a lot of us are going to be not only Patriots fans this year, but Buccaneers fans. And that would be great if they can somehow play each other in the Super Bowl. I don't see that happening. I hope Tom Brady wins another one, and I hope the Patriots win another one without Tom Brady. That's the perfect scenario right here. Everyone wins, honestly. I'd like to win together. I think everyone would like to win together, but it just didn't work out. The time was up, and everyone had to move along. So, again, if everyone can win, great. I kind of feel like that's a hard reality. It's probably not going to happen. We'll see if Tom Brady really did fall off a cliff, anyways, because, I mean, I don't think he did, but you never know. If he doesn't perform with the receivers and the weapons that he has around him this year, and they're probably only going to get better as the draft goes through, and players are still free agents, so they still have to get signed. So Tom Brady, besides his age, doesn't really have an excuse for a poor offensive performance this year from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the excuse like the Patriots do. I don't want to say it's an excuse, but Jarrett Stidham just doesn't do it for me. And we'll talk more about that. This episode was really about, the Patriots and what's next and who they have and who they don't have and what they don't have. So, we can talk about the Red Sox, we can talk about the Celtics, talk about the Bruins. Some of these videos can be longer too. They probably will be once I really do have something to talk about that's not like over a month old or almost a month old, like Tom Brady signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I'm really glad I got this introduction video done. And I'd really appreciate it if you guys could maybe subscribe, hit the alert button. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate that because there will be more videos to come. And thank you for being here. Welcome to the channel again. And stay safe out there. Don't go outside. And if you do have to go outside, please wash your hands. Cover your mouth, cover your hands, wash your hands after, use hand sanitizer, do everything that they're telling you to do, because I'm not sure, I don't think anyone's really sure when this whole pandemic with coronavirus is going to end. Too many people have lost their lives, and it's very unfortunate. And going back to football real quick, we might not even be playing with fans in the stands when these games come back. The NFL is planning on coming back regardless of the situation that the world and the country is in when the games begin in September. We can't just rush right back into this, into regular everyday life, or else this is going to hit us right back again. And then we're just going to have to stay inside even longer, and we'll be without sports even longer. So I know a lot of people are pulling their hair out, losing their minds because they're bored. There's no sports to watch. And just tough it out. Be safe. Stay clean. And this will be over hopefully sooner rather than later. Again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do all of that. If you don't want to do it, by all means, don't do it. Just thank you for joining, and see you next time.